Good evening, John Augustine back again. Let's talk shops. Shopping you drop, somebody said one time. And where do you shop? Now, in modern times, uh, there's a different ball game than when I was growing up. When I was growing up, it was all family stores for years. And funny enough, they put bread on the table because people didn't have much, and most shops give credit. And there used to be a phrase, credit is the life of trade. It certainly was. My father was a member of the Gardaí, but we got our groceries with a local shop, Dodds and Main Street boy. Ah, marvellous. We used to have to do the shopping. It wasn't like what it is now. Fathers and mothers and children towing behind them. No, we had to do that. And so I used to go down to the shop and with a list, and I would have maybe a basket or that, but and then you got your groceries, and everything was in brown paper bags, sugar and all the big thing with jigs, and they put the sugar into it, they weighed it, and everything was weighed, and the vegetables was grown like local, and all the rest was beautiful. And of course we grew our own too, but and it wasn't all this washed in plastic. They were in a big bag or whatever it might be, and you might say, "I'll have some potatoes." And much do you want? Much say be a stone, and there'd be a bit of weight there, so you had to sort of maybe have a helper with you, brother, carry something, and uh, and then it was paid every month, and the whole lot might be paid at So and a lot of people, so it kept food on the table. And a funny thing that people that went to America sent back money and often clothes to people in the west of Ireland and different parts of the country when people didn't have much, believe it or not. And they were able to put food on the table. That was the most important. You didn't see that many new houses being built around them. So when we lived in Boyle, we lived in a bungalow or a single stories when beside the Garda Barracks, and then there was another one with a bit of a gap, and another Garda lived in another one. The sergeant lived in the end one. He had a big family. We had four, and the one next door, Sherlock's, they had six, and the sergeant had 10 or 11 or 12. They had a big family, and we all played football in the square, and it'd be queer out racket. And other ones that would join in, and that was all that kind of thing. But the shopping, that was the shopping. And then when you were making your communion or confirmation, well, I made it in Howth, and that would have been the same thing, but in Boyle, down to the drapery store, and we were all togged out, and it would be the same thing again. And the cash would have been a scarce commodity, so it would be on the books. I think it was Mullally Boyle at the big drapery shop, and he'd be kitted out with your suit. And I made my confirmation at 12. My brother was a year and 3 months younger than me. He made his confirmation. My sister made something as well. She was togged out. And my little brother that died young at 13, he was togged out in the suit. And I think he made his, I just but he made his first, but I think he made his confirmation because he got a dispensation because of his age. And he was very bright. Father used to bring him around in the bicycle and just giving him, just talking. Some of you that's long in the tooth might have had some of that experience in this country and know what I'm talking about. Other countries would have had different experiences. They might have even had a nice car under the behind. Here we had a nice bicycle. That's all we had. And or else that it was Shanks Mare, or the words walking. But I had a bicycle, a barefoot, my first bicycle I got when I was maybe when I made my confirmation. I know it cost £3, and I think that had to be sort of done on the usual. And small bicycle, I learned how to ride a bicycle with that yoke. I had more trouble trying to get the pedals to go around, but eventually I got it, so I was flying everywhere in it. It was like a great joy. Funny, isn't it? I'm just talking about shopping, and this is, you're at the shop for that. I think it was Sheern's a boy, and they were still on the go. And that, funny enough, in that shop, I think it was, before it was that's where Maureen O'Sullivan, the film actress, was born. Upstairs, lovely windows, lovely, lovely sort of mullion windows. That there was great thought put into the way the building was. The windows were designed with what have you, and that's where she was born. There's a little pack tour not far from the Garda Barracks in the wall. She used to be in the Tarzan films. So we're talking now. This is what let's talk. So now shopping now was different. Family stores was the feature, but for some reason or another, they become a thing of the past. Well, I won't say a thing of the past. There's still some of them going, and they're operating under a franchise, like with supervisors owned by the people that own them, and they're able to trade and be competitive with other big supermarkets. And then they have a Centra, which is smaller, but they also are operated in a franchise, and they do fairly well. They all do well. And then the Spar, the same thing. Mace, the same thing. And there's probably other ones. But there's still one or two independent stores, but they're scarce because and it's all in plastic now, which is used to be the way, and that's where the pollution comes in. Because plastic can't be degraded, and it's a wonder by now that they haven't got a way of having stuff that's degradable, so as it doesn't cause all this pollution in lakes and rivers and the sea, and even so. But funny enough, the ones that yap about the environment never seem to mention that they're going after people that's not causing nothing. Farmers, and if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have the exports and the food on the table that we have. You have to have a balanced diet. Vegetarians will give you the sick, honest to God, they look yellow faced or something, eating whatever they're eating. It doesn't look doing them any good as far as I see. They look puny looking. If you blew, you might knock them down. So they were talking anyway. So now the supermarkets in other countries, the big old places, and but everything in it and that. And I don't like them. They're too frantic. I prefer a corner store if such a thing exists, because I like to see a proprietor. I can have a chat. And shops now, we have a great religious shops in this country, or in Veritas. They're under a bit of trouble, but I've put my shoulder to feel and offered a certain amount and provide, and hope that another thousand will do the same to safeguard Veritas. They're experts, and they're so helpful when you visit them. I bought books and things, and the staff are. You couldn't ask for better. When you win there, you're going to be helped. You're in a different place, like a holy place. It's a Catholic bookstore, and it has to be kept. My book. So I'm doing all I can, and I hope that just what I'm saying now will travel. You can check it out on my. I have a video about Veritas and with my friend Oliver that I did a few days ago. Have a look at it. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Doesn't time march on when you're talking? You can go around, and I'm just reminding of what I was brought up with. So it's grand to have that memory. Other ones haven't got that. They're shopping until they drop. And that's all they do over Sunday. Hop around supermarkets, shopping centres. That's a waste of time. Pew prayers, for goodness sake, go to Mass if you're a Catholic. I save your immortal soul. Mm. Boy, now, you happy forever in heaven.